visionaries.
Their songwriting, their playing, even their stage presence, and their hair. Their hair was fantastic.
They were very, very talented. I never really got into the big hair and the tight boots and the big boots and everything. But some of their lyrics were just phenomenal. A lot of people talked about them.
Nobody could write songs like Lithium Phoenix.
The music just speaks to you. I could always just go in my room and crank up the boombox, and Lithium Phoenix was always there for me.
You know, you've got Aerosmith, you've got the Stones, you got the Eagles, and they did great things. But Lithium Phoenix, man, they were ahead of their time. And so, of course, other bands were envious of that and wanted what they had.
So Brian and I met in high school. We were both really big into motocross at the time.
One time he busted out his guitar and he couldn't play it, and it didn't matter.
And I knew he could play a little bit of guitar, and I've got some face-melting vocals.
And I'm like, yeah, let's do that.
I was in an Elton John cover band called Hold Me Closer, Tony Danza. When I heard Jay play, I just threw my tambourine down and said, this is it. I want to go and run with these guys, and that's what we did. I toured with them for the first 3 years, and I got pretty strung out on old spray paint.
So the next thing you know, we're invited out. You know, we're going out to LA. We're like playing the Sunset Strip. You know, it was just insane.
Very creative guys, and when it was time to blow off steam, Motley Crue certainly learned a thing or two from them. That's all I'll say. Yeah, they were nuts.
They really liked to party, you know. That was what we were all about back then. It was just all about having fun. And
I live wherever Lithium Phoenix is. I follow them, and we were backstage, and Brian just looked at me, and his eyes were like glass. And he grabbed me, and he kissed me so hard. Oh, did I ever actually date Brian? Yeah. I mean, we dated for that moment.
I have to say that I've been a huge fan of Lithium Phoenix my whole life. And when they played in London, I kind of wore my fanciest outfit. And then I got to go backstage, and we hit it off.
And when the tour ended in Europe, I said, why don't you just come home with us?
Thanks, that's good. Thank you. Thank you. You should see my room. Brian Lithium comforter, Brian Lithium posters.
I met her older brother when I was in junior high, and we literally met in a women's bathroom in a church. And then he's like, I have a sister.
I just knew that he was going to be the one. I just knew it.
You know, I kept asking her brother, I'm like, man, when is she going to turn 17 and a half? And he's like, probably another 6 years.
It was like a dream. It was like a dream.
So we got married, and we've been married ever since. And then
I know he's married, and I know he's got kids, and there was a restraining order. I did not mean to scare his dog. I did not mean to scare his family.
But I'm his #1 fan even today. He's kind of like, he's kind of dreamy.
Well, there was an accident.
When Jay jumped his motorcycle, yeah, that was a bad time, man.
And I think it was Jay's mom was on the other line, and she's like, hey, Brian, it's like, Jay had this horrible accident. He was jumping his motorcycle between state lines.
Completely cased it. Totally gnarly crash.
So I'm like, well, what happened to him? And she said he's in the hospital. He's in a coma.
And I'm sorry.
Yeah, I would be in and out of the hospital. I'd sneak him some Totino's pizza rolls, and I know he couldn't eat it, but sometimes I'd try to stick it down his throat. You know, he was intubated, so I tried to shove it down there and see if he'd chew it or not, but he wound up spitting it back out.
While Mr. Lithium, or Mr. Phoenix was in the hospital, somebody broke into his house and they stole his playlist of songs. Poison had made a huge success off Every Rose Has Its Thorn. Lithium Phoenix had a song, Every Flower Had Its Prick. And it was just too close, you know. Every flower had its prick.
We were backstage at a Poison show, just kind of hanging out, and I heard Brett Michaels talk about having a notebook of Lithium Phoenixes, and then they were literally copying things and talking about what they were going to change. It was egregious.
We found footage of someone breaking in and stealing it.
Can I get a phone call?
Several witnesses claimed that they saw you leaving Jay Phoenix's house a week ago.
A week? I don't know. I was down in Tallahassee.
Can you prove that?
Can you prove it?
So we hired this PI.
I would be talking to Jay, and all of a sudden he'd kind of fade out into this space that wasn't there and start spouting out lyrics of something that he might have just thought about right in the middle of our meeting.
What were the results of the investigation? What did you find out?
Well, I didn't get to finish because they only gave me $3.
He's just like, man, that's not enough. He's like, I got kids to feed. I got to drive my car. I got to get disguises. I got to do all this research, and I can't do it for $3. So
they couldn't really raise the money, so everything had to stop. But I truly believe that the song was stolen.
we just kind of looked at each other like, man, what's going on here?
That people would change the titles a little and put it in a different key. Oh, we'll just put a capo on the second fret and it's a different song. And
having been in the business as long as I have, you see a lot of things. And I know beyond the shadow of a doubt that there was a lot of bands that were stealing lyrics and claiming it as their own. And it's just not fair.
well, there's no doubt about it. Listen to the tracks and you'll recognize them right away.
Every flower has its prick, just like every Chevy sits on bricks.
To Ski With You was about shredding some awesome white powdery slopes, and the next thing we know, Mr. Big has To Be With You. Again, you know, they changed some things around, arguably made it a better song.
I'm the guy who wants to ski with you. We should plan a trip sometime in June.
But then when Mr. Big dropped their song, it was just a big slap in the face to all of us.
I ended up in a club at a party, and Eric Martin comes in from Mr. Big. So I just asked him, you know, hey man, I only want to ski with you. What's up with that? That's how I remember it anyway. I might have said something different because he punched me right in the face. I considered the punch in the face to be an answer.
You know, we put so much of our heart and soul into this stuff, and then there are these other bands that are ripping it off, and
the other bands came up riding their creative wave all the way in to maximum MTV rotation. You know, the rest is history. The others went off and made millions and world tours, and you know, and the guys in Lithium just.
A lot of people just didn't really want to give us a shot anymore.
Nobody called anymore. Nobody wanted to book us.
It was devastating.
You know, we had to figure out we had to get real jobs. Like, you know, I became a motorcycle mechanic. So we're almost done. I think it's probably got another 2.5 years of work to go. Obviously, being a motorcycle mechanic that can't get a motorcycle to run does not pay very well. And then Jay...
We have a dog training business.
Storm, shake. Okay, see, it worked out. Storm, Storm, sit. Sit. Well,
Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Check. We are Lithium Phoenix. We both lie silently still in the dead of the night. Although we both lie close together, we feel miles apart inside. But I guess that's why they say every rose has its thorn. Thank you, Cleveland!
I'm a lead singer in a Lithium Phoenix cover band called Rising from the Ashes.
So you're a cover band of a cover band.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds funny when you say it that way, but yeah. Mom was a groupie with Lithium Phoenix. She toured with them a little bit, and she hang out with them from 84 to 85. I'm born in spring of 86. I mean, you put 2 and 2 together in the math right there. I ordered a paternity test. I think it's going to prove once and for all that I am Jay Phoenix's son.
Back in the 80s, 87, 88, 89, it happened all the time. You know, chicks were coming out of the woodwork saying that we fathered all these kids. So far, any of that has yet to be substantiated.
You think that people's just after your money and wanting fame and notoriety, but I got my own band. I'm not looking for notoriety. I'm just looking for a father.
You know, can he rock out some good tunes? Can he write music that will make the world cry? Or can he write lyrics that are beautiful? If he can, then there's probably a slight chance that we may share some DNA. I don't know if it's Jace's DNA or mine or a mix of both. I have no idea.
Yeah, I think, maybe I'd have a beer with him, but bringing him into the house and then, trying to raise him, I don't think that's going to happen.
And Jay's like, dude, you gotta read this letter. That's from this little girl who's come from just a really bad place. Family's on the rocks. Her parents' relationship is heading towards divorce.
And she found it, and the cover just kind of drew her in. And she was like, whoa, I think I need to listen to this. And it really spoke to her.
So Lexi brought home this tape and kept listening to it, and it just really, it made us so much happier.
Their marriage started turning around. They started speaking respectfully to each other, improved their communication skills. The passive-aggressive dominance kind of things started to melt away.
Well, one thing led to another, and our relationship got better, sex life got better, and next thing you know, we have this little boy right here. And you know what we named him? Phoenix. Phoenix Lennox.
That gave us like this feeling of hope.
And I said, yo, B, our music is still powerful. I think we should give this a second go.
We started writing some more music, some of our more original material stuff that nobody's stolen, that nobody's heard, and it's going to blow your mind.
I think they could easily hit a nationwide tour, doing 500 to 1,000 seat halls, and you never know, they could be playing 5,000 seat halls, 10,000 seat halls.
And you create something, and you were destined to go into to the business, and something derails you from getting where you're going, and that's a painful thing. And so if they can bounce back from that, I'll be there for them, 100%.
I see a complete return to heavy metal dominance.
And I think they've got pretty good odds, but they're going to have to spin it somehow, either do an all-acoustic set, like Nirvana did with Unplugged, or I think puppets would be a great idea. If they just had a puppet show.
Listen, I've seen the Stones, and these guys are better.
I'd definitely love to see it come back. I think maybe I could open for them. I love you, Dad.
She really, really, really wants this comeback to happen.
We don't have a choice.
There's a lot of our livelihood and marriage that depends on it.
Just give me a second. Metal. Our current situation is, the bank's calling. We're behind on our bills for our house. Jay's wife, she maybe have to go back to England.
Well, I don't want to say that she's been here illegally.
Jay, if your wife has to go back to England, I can raise those kids that you think might be yours. I mean, we can make this work.
For all of us, man, this dream, we're in it to survive now.
We have 3 kids. I think they're his. I really do. We might lose the house. Excuse me.
So we're waiting on a couple of phone calls to come in, like a couple of gigs that we're hoping to land.
I was looking in some music material online and everything, and I saw where these guys, Lithium Phoenix, were trying to get back together again. I'm really hoping to be able to get this to happen. If this can happen, we can, keep the doors and the lights on in this place. We only could get around $400 or $500 or something for them, and then I told her what we were able to pay, and she said, well, we'll take it.
Jackie Bloodgood here, reaching out about Lithium Phoenix. I want to book them. The Grand Palace Theater. 25,000 seats. Will sell out. $1 million. What? They're already booked? The Grand Palace is only available this one night, and I've got it for Lithium Phoenix. Whatever they're paying, we'll double their offer. It's ridiculous.
But now I found out that there's other parties involved. Maybe things are going to be different with somebody else making a bigger offer. We had some problems with some of the people in our town don't like that kind of music. And so they figured, this is just a waste of money.
What? They're available again? Great. Great. Send them our offer.
There you go. So that's good. 7 F sharps in a row. That counts.
Hello?
I mean, it should be tragic, but it's like you watch it, you're like, that was so metal. Sorry. Beautiful. Cut that out. Anyway, okay, take 2.
Love you, Dad.
I think their self-titled album is my favorite.